We're back here at New Revolution Grappling for the description of the kotegaeshi series for ARC Jujitsu. Assisting me today is Mr. Scott Marlowe. Basically what we're going to be covering today is kotegaeshi, Japanese terminology. You don't see a lot of it anymore in Jiu-Jitsu. The reason I do it is simply because, number one, it adds a little bit of flair. Kotegaeshi translates from Japanese to English as wrist turning. So basically it's a simple principle. I'll give you the basic and then we'll go over some variations from there. Basically there are 5 different ways to end this particular throw. The basics on kotegaeshi is basically if I step in or he reaches up and grabs me, that what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab his wrist. In this particular setup I can go to the outside and turn the wrist. Now as you guys know that I do a lot based on the small circle system. Because of Professional Wally J and my exposure to him, which, Professor, if you're watching this, thank you, sir. Greatly influenced. Basically what you want to do is create a base, bringing in here and grabbing a hold of at this point, the pinky pad. If you're coming from the outside, you always want to grab the thumb pad. Always have to have that grip, alright? But for this particular example, we'll go to the outside. Grabbing the pinky pad, collapsing it at the wrist. At that point, you can create a base here and bring him straight down. Wherever I put this finger is where I'm going to put my man. If I want him on the ground, that's where I'm going to put him. So the first kotegaeshi is grab here and turn, or grab the thumb pad and turn here. Okay? Very quick arching movement. Once you get the hand here, keep it about at waist level. This is where your power is. Because see, if I have his fingers and I have his hand here, whichever way I turn my hips now is the way he's going to go. Okay? So kotegaeshi, there's 3 ways to end this. Once I get a hold of a wrist and I turn it back into his hand, I can either turn out this way and extend a leg and throw him, put him on his head, or I can drop to a knee, for example. If he stands back up and I just establish wrist control here, bringing it here, then if I turn and step down, it's automatic wrist break. Because I'm not going to be nice like I just did and let my hand come away. I will grip and snap. The wrist is going to break. This small joint is going to transfer my force to his whole body. Alright? So kotegaeshi, there's basically 2 entries or 2 sides you can go to. And from there, endless possibilities. What I want you guys to do is play with this kotegaeshi series. Feel how the wrist moves. From that, you can evolve and go from wrist control to single finger control. Okay? Which is another small circle principle. Here, I'll go over that real quick for the benefit of you guys that haven't seen it. Creating a base with my pinky, if I need to, my ring finger. Pointer finger is my drive finger. Thumb is collapsing and holding on to the tip of his finger, putting the most leverage. See how his finger is stretched out here? A little bit of pressure is all it takes to control from here. Alright? Same thing if we go to the thumb. A little bit of pressure here is all that it's taking, and it's the same principle. I'm creating a base, keeping the finger from moving, but in this case I'm using my middle finger to lock it in. Of course I can use all 3, but for the sake of just showing you guys how easy it is to control by a finger. Middle finger, thumb pad, pressure. Okay? Doesn't take a lot. This goes back to the roots of Jiu-Jitsu, where it says that basically a smaller man can control a bigger man. Scott's not that much taller than me, and I got a few pounds on Scott, so it's not necessarily that case, but the same thing. If he grabs a hold of my thumb, collapses, it's the same concept. Alright, so it doesn't matter how big you are. These wrist turns, you can even go in here for a handshake, for example. And you know how a lot of guys like to squeeze your hand to show how tough they are? One little trick is keep that pointer finger extended. They can't collapse the bones in the hand. Go ahead as hard as you want to. Alright, as long as you keep that pointer finger extended, they can't. Now the second I collapse my hand in there, then the bones in the hand are out of alignment. Alright? So I can extend the finger here, and if somebody tries to get cute with that, then I can turn around and use their thumb against them. Okay? So when they get cute with me, I get cute right back. But basically, kotegaeshi, just as I said, it's all about using the wrist and the hands. The principles that apply to the turning of the wrist, side to side, back and down, all of those apply also to your fingers, and if need be, you can apply them also to the toes. A little bit of tidbit here, this is not necessarily a requirement, it's just pretty much a self-defense thing I'd like to show you guys. If you have somebody that's grabbing you, this is referred to as a cuticle lock by Professor J, trapping in here, getting the tip of the thumb, and going right into the bend of the thumb. I don't know if you guys can see it too much detail. I'm just hooking my pointer underneath of the finger, taking the tip of my thumb and going right into the back of the base of the thumbnail to drive it down. Alright, that works great on feet too if they're trying to get an arm bar or a knee bar or something like that. You can get a hold of a toe, squeeze the tip of that cuticle. Of course, it's illegal in UFC and competitions, but what we're doing is martial arts. Okay? So, thank you, and we'll be back with some more techniques later.